Hey guys, 2024 is going to be a pretty crazy year for real estate in Panama. I'm going to tell you about the 5 things that we are tracking to get a handle on the real estate market this year. My name's Kent. I started Panama Equity in 2007, so have been doing the real estate thing since then. So top line, the 5 things that we are following right now for the real estate market for this coming year are, number 1, the economy, not just the Panamanian economy, but the global economy, particularly some of our big neighbors like Colombia, the United States, Mexico, and Canada, okay? Number 2, the elections. We've got elections in the U.S. and elections in Panama this year. Dun, dun, dun. Number 3, of course, the local real estate market. What's going on with developers? What's going on with new inventory, supply, demand, etc. Number 4, we're watching rents. We've been seeing rents moving in a pretty wonky direction these last 6 months, and I'm going to tell you about that right now. And then finally, I'm going to share a few areas of what I think are going to be hot, or at least have been hot, and I think could continue to be hot, and also some areas that are kind of boring and cold right now. So let's get started, shall we? First and foremost, the economy. So here's a little stat for you. Panama still has one of the youngest economies in the world. Yep. Now, I should say that's not right. We have some of the youngest population in the entire world. I think the average person's age in Panama, according to the census, is like 30. That's relatively young. Country like Japan, average age is like 60. So, it's a spectrum. That said, we are still consuming in a big way. Okay, so that's our economy. Now, what about U.S. economy and how that might affect us? I don't know how that's going to go. I mean, I'm watching U.S. economy in terms of stock market, still pretty hot. Housing market feels like it's kind of peaking, or maybe even peaked right as interest rates started coming up in the fourth quarter of last year. Now, interest rates in Panama track along the same line. But here's something interesting. A lot of buyers, and you probably already know this if you've been following Panama real estate, especially with us, you know that a lot of buyers are foreigners, okay? A lot of foreigners don't use financing to purchase properties in Panama. So interest rates, of course, affect our local real estate market, and they also affect the local investor market, the international investor market, where you're going to put your money, stocks, bonds, real estate, whatever. However, what we've seen is that, number 1, Panama always trails the U.S. Because, of course, the U.S. is still a big trade partner. There are also still a lot of U.S. expats moving to Panama. So we're watching the economies of a few different countries, including Colombia, for example. Colombia had kind of a bum rap with their last presidential election. Well, it depends on who you ask, but a lot of Colombians, in fact, a record number of Colombians last year immigrated to Panama. And those are Colombians with money, from traditional and big industries like production, shipping, farming, like all kinds of diversified Colombian families moving here, moving their businesses here, buying real estate. So that's how that economy affects our real estate market. Now, you can check the link below. We published a pretty in-depth report. This is just me summarizing. And so that's number 1, the economy. Now, local Panamanian economy is kind of this year, We're watching what's going to happen with mining. Mining is kind of on the fritz right now in terms of, I don't know if you've been following, mining kind of stopped end of third quarter last year. Bunch of protests, bunch of law changes. Now they're not extracting gold and copper anymore. That is not going to be good short term, might even be not very good at all long term for the local economy. We're also watching some interesting things with the Panama Canal right now. So kind of some major industries in Panama that are a little soft. Now, how many people come and invest in real estate in Panama because we've got a strong mining sector? Well, maybe not a whole lot. You don't get the average, expat moving to Panama because we have, mining makes up 20% of our GDP. However, that does affect rents, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. Number 2, the elections. Here's the fun fact about the U.S. elections. I don't know who's going to win. I don't actually care because we have so many people, and we're not the only real estate agency here in this, that are telling us, our clients are saying, we don't care who wins the elections. We're done. We don't want to deal with it. We know election season is the worst, and we don't like the looks of the pool of candidates. So, hey, that's good for places like, Cabo in Mexico or, Ecuador, obviously Panama, Portugal, although apparently Portugal is sort of changing a lot of laws. We're going to be investigating how that plays out here in terms of making life easy for expats. With Panama, the doors are still wide open for expats. And with this upcoming election, I think that, okay, big investors, sure, they want to know what's going on before they put their money anywhere. However, your average person that comes down and invests in a property, maybe 2, maybe 3 properties in Panama, but not like a whole portfolio, they're coming down because of what's going on in their local market. Whether that's, hey, housing prices have topped. Hey, I don't like the looks of the elections. Hey, my business isn't doing so good and I'm kind of ready to retire anyway. So that trend is happening. That trend is strong. We like that trend. Obviously, for the guys that are going to benefit from real estate transactions, which is what I do and what my company has been doing since 2007. Okay. So we're watching the elections. Panamanian elections are going to be an interesting one too. Old Ricardo Martinelli, a former president. Old Martin Torrijos, also a former president. I don't know if this is precedented. I don't think it is in Panama where 2 ex-presidents are running on the same ballot. Ta-da! I think something's happening in the U.S. as well. Similar. But the good news is, guys, no candidates down here are radical such that things are going to get real crazy real quick in Panama. Most of them are status quo, same old political BS, recess all day kind of thing if you were running for the school president. Those kind of flimsy campaign promises, but hey, can't really avoid that now, can we? Okay, let's talk about the local market and how supply and demand factors could influence 2024. And this is explained in much more detail in the report below and also on our website. Okay, number 1, new project starts. Love this factor that we have about 20%, I think it's even 30% reduction in the amount of new projects that we've got going on this time last year. That's a big deal because Panama has always been plagued by oversupply. We had too many condos for the longest time, and we kind of still do, which is why appreciation hasn't really happened for a while. Now, is this going to be the year that the city condo finally starts to show some tiered appreciation? 3% here, 4% there. Golly, I would like to say yes, but I don't think that's going to happen this year. Now, if the trend continues, and we're not seeing any reason that it's not going to continue, i.e. a lot less construction projects, then I think that we have the very real possibility that demand will finally catch up and correct supply, and inventory levels will come down enough where buyers are actually where sellers can afford to increase the price on what they're asking because they know that there's not as much competition. January 2024, that is not the case. We still have plenty of supply in the form of brand new inventory and stuff coming and old inventory. So you got that going on. However, there are a couple areas that we are watching that we are liking. Costa del Este, for starters. That's upscale, just towards the east of downtown, towards the airport, right before Santa Maria. It's nice properties, nice condos, nice homes, medium home price in Costa del Este for like a 3,500 square foot home. You're looking at, $600,000, right? Condo, same thing, 3,000 square foot condo. That's about 280 meters. So figure about, 600,000-ish, right? So we like Costa del Este. We actually like it for potential appreciation. I don't normally say that, but there are like no new projects really cranking in Costa Este such that other than Bioma, we've got a few that are delivering right now, but like there's not this massive amount of new supply, and there hasn't been because they stopped building about in a big way like 5 years ago. So Costa Este is going to be interesting. We also love Costco. That's kind of my point 5, but I'll jump into that now, which are areas we like. Costco is very interesting, especially the fringes of Costco, like 13, 14, 15, 16th Street. Still a little dicey, but coming along. La Manzana, Costco View, those projects are getting delivered. Nightclubs are there. Fashion is there. So now you kind of get a little bit more overflow. Tourists, not so much. Don't want to go walking there at night yet. Could you live there? Probably. Yeah, I would say definitely in certain buildings, and just, being wary. You don't go flexing your brand new Rolex downtown anywhere, right? Generally. Okay, so what else can I tell you? Rents. Okay, so rents are interesting right now. Rents have actually been coming up in this city. Rents are stable and flat at the beach. The beach, by the way, guys, great area, great deals still. A lot of developers still kind of building out there. We've got kind of future supply. We've got like at least a year in terms of days on market. So stuff is not flying off the shelf at the beach. There are buyers. Their transactions. Airbnb's been interesting at the beach for our investors. Airbnb's also been really interesting up in the mountains. Altos del Maria, El Valle. El Valle, by the way, guys, watch this space. El Valle is getting interesting. The guys from La Compañía, super fancy hotel in Costco, just bought a place in El Valle. Let's go. So that's always interesting for a new market, is when you get a splash. Now, might be a couple of years. Oh, big one. The road project. I detailed timelines in the report on the road project. Sneak preview, we're still about a year away, at least, from the highway getting expanded from Panama City to the beach. Drive time goes from it used to be like an hour. Now it's like 2 hours because it's ridiculous. And this is no traffic. Eventually it'll be like 40 minutes. That's nothing. And the traffic spikes will be a lot less noticeable. Yes. Okay. So back to rents in the city. Rents are up like 10%. We like that. Why? Obviously, that's cash flow for an investor. If you can acquire at this price, rent it at a higher rate, if the rent trend continues, that's return. Now, what are you making on your city condo these days? 6% if you're just knocking it out of the park. And that's 6% net, but you got to be just nailing it. Zero vacancy, back-to-back tenants, renting above market, buying below market. How often does that happen? I would say if you're planning on, conservative numbers, 4.5% should be attainable in this market. If you buy well in a property that you can rent out, that's not going to sit there for like 60 days because that kills your numbers. Anyway, guys, I don't like to make these too long. That's my 2024 real estate predictions analysis, and more importantly, what we're following. So hopefully that's helpful. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.